Hello Year 11 and welcome to our second video here for functions and their graphs. We're going to look at functions, relations and graphs today, but really only quite briefly. This is going to be quick. I don't even have an example to go with this. Now we're going to start by looking at these two terms, these two words, domain and range. If we think of our function as some sort of machine, I put something in, my function turns it into something else. Right? The things that I put in, they come from the domain. So all the things that can go in there belong to the domain. All the things that come out belong to the range. Now, I can't necessarily put whatever I want into this machine. Some things will clog it up and break it. So there are really two things that we want to avoid doing at this stage, breaking these rules of mathematics. One of them is making fun of my hair. No. One of them is we can't divide by zero. Dividing by zero is a real problem. And also we can't take the square root of a negative number. So we want to avoid both of those things. Anything that would violate those rules, well, won't belong to the domain. The range is going to be restricted by the function. It's going to, the function turns it into certain things, and we'll see what sort of effects they can have. So, consider this function here, y equals 1 over x minus 2. I don't have to worry about a square root. Right, but when I'm dealing with the domain, what I'm really looking for is square root of negative, not there. Dividing by 0, there's a problem there. If x were equal to 2, I would be dividing by 0. Can't do that. So my domain is x does not equal 2. Otherwise, I just say it's all x or all real x. But x cannot equal 2 for this function here. So that's the domain. Now, the range is what comes out the other side. Sometimes that's all y or all real y. Other times though, there are restrictions on it. So for example, this very familiar function y equals x squared, parabola, concave up. If I put a negative value into that, that's fine. I can square a negative, but I get a positive answer. If I put a positive number in there, I square it, I get a positive answer again. I could put 0 in there and get 0, but there's no number from the domain, which is all x. My domain is all x, but my range is always greater than or equal to 0. So there we go. That's domain and range. There is one more little thing here that we want to talk about, and that's whether that's determining whether we have a function. And we can do this with a vertical line. If I've got the graph of a function and I draw a vertical line anywhere, should that vertical line cut the graph in more than one place? Right, then that would imply that one value, which is represented by that vertical line, one x value substituted in produces more than one y value. And that's not what functions do. Right? One number in, one number out is how functions work. So, if my vertical line cuts the graph in more than one place, we say it fails the vertical line test. Okay? If a vertical line cuts the graph in more than one place, not a function. That's it. Domain and range, vertical line test. Remember, don't divide by 0, don't take the square root of a negative number, and a vertical line cutting the graph more than once means that you do not have a function. That's it for today. You know what to do. If you've got any questions, ask me in class. See you then.